Have you ever had people say to you, I have to think about it, not ready yet, it's too dear, we'll have to talk to my accountant, my board, my executive team, to my wife, something like that? Obviously, these are all the sort of obstacles that we encounter when we are making a presentation and people are not ready to take it on yet, or at least they are deferring and delaying their decision. In the final skill that matters a great deal for people in business development roles is called closing, and it is the art to help people feel comfortable to take on our solution, whether that is a product or a service or both. Now, one thing I'd like to say with this is that the quality of our questions defines the quality of our outcome. And so it really depends on how we weave in certain question techniques throughout our interactions with customers, particularly when we are doing the presentation and then the time after that. So what I mean by that, there's two different ways of questions here that I'd like to first bring to your attention. The first one is open-ended questions. The open-ended questions are typically the ones that we use during our qualifying. They are the questions that start with who, what, when, where, how, tell me, why, and the likes, which I've already talked about in a previous video, when we spoke about qualifying. The other type of questions are closed-ended questions. Now, these really come to their full power and when we deploy them in the stages of the presentation, the influencing, and the closing particularly. So let me just give you a few examples. During our presentation, when we are asking questions such as, how do you like this? And, you like this one? Yep. Does this sound like a good fit? Could this be the one? These are all casual conditional closes. They are pretty much helping us to figure out where the client sits and how our solution that we presented to them is, if it possibly is the thing they're after or not. So we're conditionally asking for a close. Now, later on in the stages, when we, for example, pick up on buying signs, we see that people are seriously opening up to the solution and that that buying desire is being reached. People are feeling certain ways about it, they want it, they are committed, and there's certain cues that people give out, psychologically speaking, that you and I can pick up on. Well, when we do pick up on it, a great question to ask is then, it looks like we found the right one, right? Or I can tell that you really like this one, correct? These sort of questions are really good to then weave in at the right time, and it's all about timing. But so it's not necessarily saying that certain questions are better than others. It's all about the timing where we deploy those questions, because all questions are neutral. It's just about knowing when to plug them in. The art of closing is really knowing how to make people progress from a stage of indifference over to warming up towards your solution, and then making them feel comfortable about taking it on. There's obviously value of questions such as, what other things, are you uncomfortable with? Or what other things do you have questions about? These are the sorts of questions, again, in that sort of final stage of presenting, influencing, and closing that are helpful to ask to help people tilt from being fully indifferent to completely warming up and being ready to take it on. Now, this is just a very brief snapshot of things that are relevant in business development. Any thoughts or questions? Please post them below. Thank you for joining. My name is Bram.